Okay. Today, what we are going to talk about is we are going to talk about power transmission. Okay. And not we already know what power transmission is. Um, we know that power, if it is generated um, at one place, at a certain location, um, it might not be needed there. Okay. So what do we need, we do is that we transmit it somewhere else. For example, power is generated with in the engine, but you use that power somewhere else. For example, let's make it very simple that it is taken to the wheels of a car. If you are talking about a vehicle, um, there are different power transmission elements, for example, shafts, gears, cams, and so on. Okay. Now, some of these all of these power transmission elements are fine, and we talked about gears. You have talked about cams probably in your machines. And you know what shafts are. We are going to talk about shafts in detail, the design of shafts in detail, but shafts are just circular section, and they transmit power and they would rotate. Okay. Now, but there are other elements and we call them flexible power transmission elements. Now, what are flexible power transmission elements? As the name says, that they are flexible. Okay. And those flexible power transmission elements include belts, chains, ropes, and there are also flexible shafts. Okay. Now, why do we use flexible power transmission elements? Because they have some advantages. Now, what are the advantages of power transmission elements? कि आपके जो actually, what are the advantages of power transmission elements is, if you look at these power transmission elements that we just talked about, जैसे अभी हमने कहा gears, ठीक है जी, cames, they can transmit power through a shorter distance. But if you want to transmit power through a longer or a larger distance, then you would need flexible power transmission elements. So generally, they are used for power transmission through a larger distance. ठीक है? Belts, chains, ropes. इसी तरह the other advantages include they are not costly. So these if you want to make a gear that would transmit power from one side of a room to another side of a room, that is going to be very expensive. ठीक है जी? तो cost sometimes These uh, for example, belts, when you use them, they can absorb vibrations. And in turn, when they absorb vibrations, when they run, they can extend the life of the machine, right? Now, also, these are, you can say, easy to maintain. ठीक है जी? So there are different advantages of these power transmission elements, the flexible power transmission elements. Now, if you want to talk about the specific power transmission elements, for example, belts. ठीक है जी? We will start with belts, and then we will talk about chains and ropes. ठीक है जी? Any question? Any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
अच्छा जी.
No, sir.
What are belts? देखिए, belts are flexible power transmission elements, and these are used when, again, when you have larger distance. ठीक है जी? They can take power from one place to another, and generally belts would be mounted on pulleys. So it's not only belts, basically it is pulleys and belts that we will be talking about. ठीक है जी? So mainly belts are mounted on pulleys. For example, you want to transmit power from this shaft to this shaft, so you will mount a pulley on it, and mount another pulley on this. So this is another pulley, and put a belt around it. Now, so when you put this belt around it, now let's say that this is the driver. This is the pulley that has the power source. So we will call this the driver. Okay. And what will this pulley become? This will become, or this side will become the driven. This pulley will become the driven. Let's say this is shaft A and this is shaft B. Okay. And this is the center of this and center of this. Now, what will happen? Okay. First of all, if this is the driver and it is rotating in this direction, what is this going to do is that it is going to pull on the, since there is friction between the pulley and the belt, so it is going to pull on the uh, it is going to pull on the belt. So okay, this is going to pull the belt in this direction. Okay? But this one is resisting that. The pulley on this side is going to resist that, therefore there will be a pull generated in here, and there is going to be a tension. This will become very, very straight. Okay? And this belt over here is going to become very straight. Okay? By very straight, I mean that it is going to become very, very tight. Okay? And let's say that the tension on this side is F1. That tight tension is F1. When this is happening, at the same time, if you look over here, since the pulley is rotating in this direction, right, it is going to throw away the belt, right? But still there is going to be some tension on this side. So it is going to throw away this belt, but there is going to be some tension in here, and this tension is going to be less than this F1, but let us call this F2. So देखिए, this side is going to become a little bit looser. Okay? This side is going to become loose. Okay? But it is only in the case when this one is the driver and the direction of rotation is as we have mentioned over here, right? Now, so this means that we have a tight side, we have a tight side and a loose side. So this one is the loose side of the belt and that one is the tight side of the belt. Now, but if I change the direction of rotation and make it like this, what is going to happen? This one is going to become the loose side and this one is going to become the tight side then. Okay? It is going to be opposite, right? So what we mean is that the tight side and the loose side tension, that would solely depend on the direction of rotation and which one is the driver, right? If this becomes the driver and it is rotating in this direction, then if it is rotating in this direction, then this one will become the tight side, right? So it depends on the direction of rotation and the driver and the driven. Okay? Now, looking over here, if we look over here, so now what will happen is that when this becomes too tight, this pulley is going to start to rotate with this, right? So that is how power is transmitted with the help of belts and pulleys. Now, if we look over here, this is wrapped around, the belt is wrapped around the pulley. So this angle is known as theta. Okay? If I call this the diameter of this pulley as small d and the diameter of this pulley as big D, then I have small theta d and capital theta d over here, which is the angle of wrap. Okay? Angle of wrap. And over here, the power transmission takes place due to friction. Okay? Now, let's just see. If I have this pulley and I take, since we said that there is an angle of wrap which is theta, okay? Theta, some angle of wrap theta. If I take a very, very small, first of all, there are different types of belts. Let's talk about the different types of belts. And those different types of belts are flat belts, then we have V round belt,
Yes.
we also have V belts, timing belts, so we have these belts. Now, what are flat belts? Flat belts are actually, the cross section of flat belts just look like this, and you would have seen this in many applications. For example, tractor thresher में you would have seen this in the wood shop. You would have seen these kinds of belts. So this is the cross section. Now this is the thickness of the belt. Okay? And this is the width of the belt, which is denoted by B. Okay? And if you look at this belt, this is going to go like this. Okay? So we get the flat belt and the round belt. Round belt is, again, it has a cross section which is round, and the diameter is basically the parameter that you have. Okay? So it's just a round belt, round. Yes. Okay? Now, in case of flat belt and um, round belt, the material come in spools, right? And you can make a belt, and these are specific materials, but you can make belts of your own length, choice of length. So what would you do is that you would take, it from the spool and make, a loop out of it like this and put a joint in there. That's yoga. You would put this joint in there. And you would have seen this joint in flat belts and round belts too. So there is a joint in these belts. And the round belts also have a joint in there because you make them according to the length that you would need between two pulleys. Now, as far as the center to center distance is concerned, that through how much distance can these two types of belts transmit power, so the distance is unlimited. You can transmit power through unlimited distance theoretically. Similarly, unlimited with this belt too. And there are different sizes available as far as the thickness is concerned. These thicknesses are standard thicknesses, and similarly the diameters are also standard diameters. And we can have a look at it. For example, यहाँ पे अगर आप देखें तो you can have these thicknesses, the sizes available in here, right? Similarly, for round belts, you have these kind of, this is the thicknesses that are available in the round belts.
सर
जी? Yes.
सर ये फ्लैट और राउंड में जॉइंट है और वी आर टर्निंग में नहीं, इसका क्या मतलब है?
Yes, I'm going to come there. अभी
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, सर ये स्पूल्स का क्या मतलब है? स्पूल्स आपने जो
it's just like spool ले तो होगा ना, इसके around जैसे ये, it will be like this. You just get a round bundle of it. ठीक है?
bundle of flat belts.
Bundle of material, just a flat, a belt, but it is not made yet. As like thread, you get thread, right? But it is not thread; it is a flat belt that you would get. It will be a kind of ribbon of material that you would make belt out of it. ठीक है जी?
Okay, sir.